Time. Time is the only thing I have. It's my only currency, my only comfort, my only friend. Time is my blessing. I keep track of time. Hours, days, months, years. And for that, time is also my curse. It's been over 4 years. 4 years of hell. Suffering, pain, and loss are the only things I've known for the past 4 years. My name is Anya Gorski, and I'm from Sokolau, Poland. I'm 18 years old, and if I'm right, my time is running out. The cold autumn air is piercing, but I stopped shaking hours ago. Makes no difference anymore. Frail, shadowy figures surround me. Everybody stands huddled together, but nobody speaks. Between the exhaustion and the cold, nobody has the strength or the will to talk. Some of the children on the train sob, maybe from the hunger or the cold, or maybe fear of what's going to happen. But I don't like looking at the children. Their suffering breaks my heart. They're so innocent. They've done nothing to deserve this. Then again, nobody on this train has done anything to deserve a fate like this. Where this train is taking us, I don't know. And to be honest, I don't think I care. I just wish it were over. I hate riding on this train. I would much rather be back in the ghetto. Starving, laboring, anything. At least back there, I could do things to pass the time. But being on this train gives me one thing. Time. Time to think. And thinking is the part I hate most. For no matter what happens, I always think of what I've lost. My home. My friends. My family. Try to remember better times, but it gets harder every time I try. I'm starting to forget their faces. Subtle things start to fade. Smells, tastes, sounds. My memories are becoming like a worn photograph. I can't remember what my father's breakfast tasted like. Sausages, eggs, and fresh bread. Over time, I've forgotten these things. There's only one memory I can recall every detail of. No matter how hard I try, I think about it every day. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a beautiful day in early October of 1939. Poland's capital of Warsaw had been under siege by the German army. We could hear the bombs going off all the time, but we ignored it. My brother Victor and I spent the day riding our bicycles. Even though we were brother and sister, we were best friends. Our other friends didn't understand how we got along so well, but it made our parents happy. We rode our bicycles all through the town that day. But upon reflection, I realize now how dead the streets were. The streets of Sokolau were usually bristling with life. But not this day. The children played on the streets, naive and unaware that the German army was quickly approaching the city. We went home for dinner. Mama was upset. Victor and I didn't understand why. Mama knew it was going to happen. She had prepared a fine meal. The best silverware and china were used. It seemed like a special occasion. We asked her if Papa was coming home. She fought back tears and told us,
"No, my loves. Papa will not be coming home today, but soon."
Papa was a watchmaker, a quiet man. He never stopped working. There were clocks all around my house growing up. Most of them were not ours, but the ones he brought back from the shop to tinker with at home. he used to say to us.
Time is the only thing you can always depend on.
Me and Victor used to laugh and dance when they all started to chime at once. So many different sounds and noises, it was like music to our ears. We hadn't seen Papa in many months. He had gone off to join the Polish army in hopes of discouraging an invasion by the Germans. Our mother knew what happened to him, but she didn't have the heart to tell us. The Polish army sent men on horses to fight tanks, machine guns, and artillery. Unlike us, she had no illusions about his fate. Papa gave us both presents before he had gone. Me, a diary and a pen. The diary was a very small one that you could take anywhere. But I was not one for writing, so I didn't use it. But it was still beautiful. The pen I used more often. I always carried it with me, as a good luck charm, although I didn't use it much. It had Anya engraved on it. My father then gave Victor a beautiful pocket watch, solid brass trimmed with silver and gold, and a beautiful eagle engraved in the front. Victor Gorski, it said on the back. It was magnificent. Papa must have been working on it for months. There was a picture of me and Victor on the inside when it was opened, and I had always wished that I owned that watch growing up. As we sat down for dinner that night, we heard noises. Gunshots, explosions in the distance. These weren't as distant as the ones we had heard all month. Victor became worried. So did I. Mama sat there and smiled.
It's okay, my loves,
She said.
Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
They slowly got louder. We could hear the screams. We grew restless, but Mama just sat there comforting us as we ate. She then took us into the den. Victor checked the window constantly. I started to cry. The noises came closer. I didn't know what to think. None of us did. She sat on the couch between us and hugged us and kissed us on the head and started praying. We could hear the Polish soldiers retreating, the German ones following close behind. From that night on, the Nazis controlled our city. For a year, we were outcasts in our own town, ostracized by our friends, forced to wear armbands, signifying our Jewish faith. We were treated like scum, forced to walk in the streets in shame. And for what? For our beliefs? Our culture? It wasn't fair. The Germans laughed and joked about us. They wouldn't let us into some stores or parts of town.
Judah, du darfst hier nicht rein. Raus hier!
Our school was closed down, and the synagogue was boarded up. We were left with nothing. Mama had gotten sick with typhus. We had to pawn all of our possessions to get food to eat and medicine for Mama. We had nearly no possessions left. Victor suggested that we pawn the pocket watch, but Mama would not have it.
No matter what, you must hold on to that pocket watch.
Mama got worse over time. She could barely get out of bed. We were all starving. We had nothing left. I didn't think things could possibly get worse. I was wrong. It was almost a year to the day when the event happened, the one I think about every day. I remember the sounds coming from outside. The screams of my neighbors, the Kaminskis. We were silent. We did not know what was happening, but we knew it wasn't good.
Soldat, überprüf mal das andere Haus da.
Germans. I was terrified. I remember looking at Victor. He looked at me, and it was his eyes. They looked at me with some kind of knowledge. My brother was older than me, nearly 3 years. He was tough. I'd never seen him worry before, but when I looked into his eyes that night, I saw something. Something I can't explain. It was more than fear. I think he knew what was about to happen, but I don't know how. Maybe it was instinct, or maybe just my imagination. But when I looked into his eyes that night, I knew that everything was not going to be all right. I remember every detail. I remember the sound of the boots approaching our door. I remember the door bursting open. We were sitting on the couch as the soldiers waved their guns in our faces and yelled at us. She kissed us on the heads as the soldiers pulled us away from her. She stayed seated on the couch.
Take care of each other. I love you both so much.
We were being forced down the hallway. I remember how terrified I was. I remember the last moments of my freedom. What happened next, I could not even comprehend.
Kommandant, hier rein. Wir haben ein paar gefunden.
You, get up. Get up!
My husband did not die fighting the Germans so that I would bow down to them.
Fine, have it your way. Hans, you know what to do.
Ja, Kommandant. Ich habe verstanden.
Now, my dear. There's no need to cry, can't you see? Your mother's in a better place now. And I'm sure you'll be meeting her there very soon.
Heinrich, get some out of here, then check the rest of the house. There may be more hiding.
Ja, Kommandant.
From there, we were taken to the ghetto in Warsaw. I was amazed at what I saw. All the Jews in the area were being beaten, shot, and forced into the ghetto. Yet out in the streets of Warsaw, life went on as usual. Shopkeepers swept their porches. Businessmen walked about with their briefcases. The only thing separating us from regular life was a barbed wire fence. In my time in the ghetto, I bore witness to many horrors, things that will haunt me for the rest of my life. But I always told myself that no matter what happened, I wouldn't give up hope. That all changed on the day that I was given the pocket watch. It was a struggle to survive in the ghetto. The Germans gave us half of what we needed to live. So Victor and a few other boys from our building started smuggling in supplies, food, tools, medicine, whatever they could, in order to provide for the whole building. Every night they would seek the help of those that were kind enough to give. It was risky for them too. Anyone caught helping us would be killed. Victor, Sasha, Walter, and the Kowalski brothers were the reason many of us survived. I didn't know what to think when Sasha brought me the pocket watch. I was confused at first. It was February 16th, 1942. Sasha came up to me crying. A full-grown man, 19 years old, sobbing inconsolably. He put the pocket watch in my hand. He told me what happened. When the boys went into the city, they would sneak out past the German patrols. They would get what they could, and they would sneak back in. Sasha told me that a German patrol had spotted the boys and raised the alarm.
Achtung, Achtung! Alle Truppen zurück zur Zentrale. Wir haben einen Ausbruch. Schneidet sie ein! Sie entkommen! Schneidet sie ab!
The SS had started to surround the block they were in. They were trapped. They got as close to the ghetto as possible, but there were too many Germans watching the streets. 2 soldiers with an attack dog were getting closer. Sasha said Victor then turned to him and handed over the pocket watch.
Sasha, you have to get this pocket watch back to Anya. Please, do it for me. Victor! Victor, what are you doing? Where are you going?
My brother then ran out into the street. The Nazis saw him and followed suit.
Halt! Stop!
Victor led them down an alley and the rest of the boys crept back into the ghetto while the guards were distracted.
Come on, let's go!
They were going to wait for Victor,
Guys, wait, we have to wait for Victor.
but they knew what happened to him. Sasha said that Victor had saved them all, that he died a hero, but I don't care. I just want my brother back. I remember that day. I remember it perfectly. Again, one of the few memories I can recall without difficulty. It's funny. For 14 years I enjoyed a wonderful life. I had no cares or worries or problems. There were so many good days, yet all I can remember of the past 18 years are the bad ones. The ones that, when added up, ultimately broke my spirit. It was 4 months after Victor died that things changed again. Block by block, room by room, the Germans started to liquidate the ghettos. Thousands of people were forced out of their homes.
No, please!
Ihr da, raus hier!
Stop,
Los,
no,
jetzt!
No, please!
Alle Mann, raus!
No! Please, no!
All the possessions taken away. Some were shot randomly. Why? I don't know. It was mainly the sick, the old, and the young. The weak ones. Those who tried to run were killed without a second thought. Which brings me to today. Today is July 23rd. I've spent nearly 2 years of my life in captivity. A prisoner in my own country. It's been a month since they started liquidating the ghetto. Now I'm on this train that takes me somewhere. I've counted 18 people that have died on this train already. They are the lucky ones. They have escaped all sense of fear, all sense of pain, all sense of suffering. We have spent exactly 39 hours in this train car. We were in here for 30 hours before it started moving. No food or water. Not like our captors care. Probably makes them happy to see us die. There is a bucket we use as a bathroom. One bucket for hundreds of people. The irony. No food or water. They would starve us to death, but want us to use the bucket so that they don't have to clean up our waste. Humanity. It is truly twisted. A woman beside me started asking people where the train was headed. An older man said that earlier he heard 2 soldiers saying that all of us were on a train to Treblinka. Treblinka? I don't know where it is, or why we're going there, but I can only assume the worst. A few people suggested that the Russians were pushing the Germans back. Hope. I wish I still had it. Hope, like time, is a curse. Having hope is dangerous. Because if your hope turns out to be pointless, your world could come crashing down. Listen to me. I'm not the same person I was 4 years ago. I was so full of life, so full of wonder and joy. Now I find myself saying hope is dangerous. What have I become? Those are crazy thoughts. A rational person always has hope, don't they? I managed to fall asleep. I don't know how. After all, I was standing up the whole time. Felt quite weak. The hunger is painful, but I don't let it faze me. Pain I can deal with. Since the ghettos were cleared out, I have not eaten. According to my watch, I have not eaten in 4 days, 8 hours, and 16 minutes. Time. It is my curse. Yet were it not for time, I would have lost myself completely by now. If I let each day bleed into one another and lost track of time, I think I would have snapped. This pocket watch gives me the gift of time, the gift of sanity. No material possession can carry such value. I would gladly starve myself for days than give up the watch. The pocket watch is more than simply a way of tracking time. Its value is so much more than gold or silver. This watch is my home. This watch is my family. This watch is my life. I would have never thought I would die for something like a pocket watch. But I would. Nobody, not even Hitler himself, could pry this watch from me. I must rest again. I feel horrible. So weak. The people by the window of the train say that we are approaching a building. They didn't have to say it. I think I finally know what I saw in Victor that night. The night that we were taken away. The night my mother died. I have the same feeling that Victor had the night he died. Sasha had seen it too. I don't feel fear or regret. It's not any conventional emotion, really. It's just a sense. A feeling. It's an awareness. I don't think you could ever understand it unless it happened to you. I don't know why, but I'm almost certain I will die. I don't know why I'm thinking such terrible things, but it's the only conclusion that I'm drawing. That's why I have given all my possessions to you. I don't know you. I've not talked to you. I will probably never have the chance to. I will never kiss or hug or love you. But you are on this train with me, and that's all I need. You have gone through unimaginable things like me. I can't explain why I picked you. It's just a feeling. And for some reason, I know you will take care of everything I have left. My brother's pocket watch and my diary. I wish that my diary had been put to use during my happy days, so that I could reflect upon them and remember the good times. But now is as good a time as any. Please keep these things safe. Keep the watch. It will help you through the rough patches. Keep it hidden from the Germans. They will take it from you. And keep this journal. This is my story. My life condensed in this diary. I don't know why I wrote it, but I did. Maybe as some sense of confession or self-realization. Maybe just to tell my story to someone else so that I wouldn't just fade away into history. So that I'm not just another casualty, but a person. And at this point, I cannot explain my actions. I don't know. I did what I did because I felt it was right. I hope you understand. My name is Anya Gorski, and I'm 18 years old. I'm from Sokolau, Poland. And if I'm right in my assumption, my time is running out.